How's it kicking, YouTube? Warhead XX War Card Games here, bringing you a new series. And guess what? It's called Custom Cards. And let me guess. What can this be about? That's right, custom cards. And I made all these in TCG Editor. If you guys don't know what TCG Editor is, I'll have it linked down in the description below. Basically, it's just a better version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Card Maker. So, I was just, trolling around thinking, like, how can I make certain archetypes better and more suited towards the meta? Specifically today's meta where everything is so freaking crazy. I mean, like, literally summon 5 monsters in one turn, fucking make trap tricks with Fleesia, Stardust, and these are like decks like freaking Dragoonities that aren't even good. And decks that are good are making even more crazier shit like Ignister and freaking Cosmo Dark Destroyer and all this other stuff. So I decided to take 2 very old archetypes, old and very outdated archetypes. I mean, like you can see right here, I have one for Gravekeepers. Gravekeepers, they had their time. They were a big meta deck maybe in 2010, 6 years ago. And they don't really compete with anything today. So I was just, scrounging around and thinking, hey, how can I make this deck better? And the first thing I thought of was, what if we gave them a boss monster that was actually good? Not like Gravekeeper's Oracle and crap like that. I was thinking, hey, why not give them a cool, very much a staple boss monster? Like, in today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Every single boss monster seems like it's just completely outdated. Like, boss monsters seem like they're dead. So, I decided to give Gravekeepers 2 new cards that will probably make them meta. And if you guys disagree with me on whether or not these cards would make a meta, just write down in comments below why you don't think it would make it meta. But I'll go ahead and read, tell you what the card is, tell its level, tell us what type it is, and stuff like that, its name, and I'll go ahead and explain to you why I think this card would be very good in that deck. Especially seeing how I made 2 Gravekeeper cards that pretty much go hand in hand. So let's go ahead and we'll start with the first one. We've got Gravekeeper's Overseer. He's a dark, level 7 spellcaster effect monster. His effect reads, you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard by attributing 1 face of Gravekeeper's monster you control. You are unaffected by the effects of Necro Valley. Once per turn, you can special summon 1 Gravekeeper's monster from your graveyard in face up or face down defense position. This card cannot be tributed, destroyed, or sent to the graveyard the turn it is summoned. So, looking at this card is so goddamn easy to summon. Even though Gravekeepers, they have kind of a reputation of being a helmet deck, Gravekeeper's Overseer works in conjunction with that, because you can just go ahead and, let's say that you summon Gravekeeper's, Recruiter. You summon Gravekeeper's Recruiter, you go ahead and tribute that off and summon Gravekeeper's Overseer. You get your search off of the Recruiter, and then Overseer brings back the Recruiter. Or even better, you can set Gravekeeper's Spy. Set Spy, let your opponent tack into it. Or, like, even though that's kind of slow nowadays, you're probably going to get freaking shuffled back into the deck by freaking Ignister or blown up by some random card, I don't know, Regeki. But just let's say that your opponent actually attacked into your Gravekeeper Spy. You can special summon Recruiter and do the same play over again. Also, there's a new Gravekeepers card that I made up that actually works very well in conjunction with this boss monster. His 2400 attack, pretty good. I mean, it's probably the highest. I think it is the highest attack of all the Gravekeeper monsters. And look at how badass this card art is. Even though I pretty much just looked up Anubis online and found the most coolest art. So tell me what you guys think of this card. I think this would be a 3 of in a Gravekeepers deck. Just hands down a 3 of. But speaking of 3 ofs, let's go on to our next card. We got Gravekeeper's Majester. It's a dark, level 4 spellcaster effect, 1500 attack, and 1300 defense. Its effect is, you can discard this card, then add 1 Gravekeeper's monster from your deck to your hand. If you control Necro Valley, you can add this card from your graveyard to your hand. And by the way, guys, this does not negate its own effect, because it even reads on Necro Valley, negate any effect that activates in the graveyard other than its own. So it would negate something like Call the Haunted, but it wouldn't negate something like Giant Rat. If this card is tributed, add 1 royal tribute from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Gravekeepers and Majester once per turn. Okay, this card is the pure definition of a 3-of if it actually existed. Plus, it's basically like a really good searcher. So you just be like, hey, I got Gravekeepers Majester in my hand. Let me go ahead and discard this. And why not? Let's discard Commandant. That way we can add Necro Valley and whatever, like Recruiter or Overseer to our hand. And then we'll go ahead and activate Necro Valley, get back the Majester, and then we go ahead and summon the Majester, tribute it off for Overseer. Overseer, Majester's effect pops off in the graveyard. You get the Royal Tribute, activate Royal Tribute, blow up your opponent's entire freaking hand, and then bring back the Majester. Special summon it from the graveyard with the effect of Overseer for more defense. Plus, it opens up Exceed plays for the next turn, and obviously, I mean, it's just an amazing card. That I was like, man, how can Gravekeepers get super fast? And I was like, this is the pure definition of how this deck can actually compete in the meta. Add, and add. It basically, it's just an amazing card. Like. Okay, and now let's go on to our next one. These are the 2 Gravekeeper cards. I believe these would definitely be 3-ofs if they actually existed in real life. But yeah, this would definitely make the deck at least playable in today's meta. And now we're going to go on to a different archetype. Perhaps one of the worst archetypes of all time, seeing how they barely had any support past a couple GX sets, and we are talking about the Cloudians. Today, I made 3 Cloudian cards. These cards may not exactly make the deck top tier, but I believe it'd make it much more viable as a deck to play. At least for fun. So, anyways, we got Cloudian Ultistratus Bear. It's a water level 4 fairy effect monster with 1400 attack and 0 defense. Its effect is basically the Cloudian Claws that you'll see with every Cloudian card. It goes, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card is in face-up defense position, destroy it. When you normal summon this card, place 1 fog counter on every face-up monster on the field for every Cloudian monster you control. You can remove 1 fog counter from this card to normal summon 1 Cloudian monster in addition to your normal summon / set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. Basically, what he is like the Constellar Pollux, Evil Swarm, whatever the hell that thing is called. I can't even remember. I think it's called Caster or whatever. He basically summons himself. He spins fog counters on every single monster on the field. That includes your own Cloudian monster. And he spends the same number as Cloudian monsters you actually control. So, basically, he's like a better version of every other Cloudian that exists. He's like a better version of Cloudian Squall, because all you need to do is normal summon him, and everything gets a counter. And then, plus, if you have another one in your hand, you can just pop off a fog counter off this guy, and then summon another Ultistratus Bear, and then go ahead and take everybody and make everything have fog counters. So yeah, you can obviously see how good this card could be. Plus, it opens up Exceed's play since a lot of the Cloudians are level 4. And speaking of Exceed's plays, we've got an Exceed's card right here, Cloudian Cyclone Thunderstorm. It's a water, level 4, thunder, Exceed's effect with 1800 attack, 0 defense. It requires 2 level 4 Cloudian monsters. Now, listen to this effect. When this card has Exceed summon, place 3 fog counters on all face-up monsters on the field. When this card is this card has Exceed materials, it cannot be destroyed by battle. You can detach 2 Exceed materials from this card to remove all fog counters on 1 face-up monster you control and banish a number of your cards your opponent controls equal to the number of removed fog counters. You can only use this effect of Cloudian Cyclone Thunderstorm once per duel. I thought like, damn, this thing is so busted. Like, you can just blow away your entire, like, your opponent's entire field, which kind of makes sense seeing how he's a cyclone thunderstorm. Like, literally, he would blow away, like, a town. So he basically blows away your opponent's field. And he banishes, not destroys, which makes it 1,000 times better than, basically any kind of Xyz. Like, this is like the Evil Swarm Exciton Knight of Cloudians. Definitely, this card would be played probably at 1 because that last clause I put in there. I was thinking, like, he's a little bit too busted. Like, just imagine if you just kept on summoning this guy like 1,000 times. Like, I summoned 3 of these guys. Like I summoned this guy, blow up your field, attack. Okay, you got some more shit? Okay, I go ahead and summon another one, blow up your field and attack. I mean, he's just too busted, man. Like, you'd make Cloudians, like I said, viable. And now we got our last Cloudian card, and it's a remake of a fan favorite card. Cloudian Smokeball Prodigy. He's a water level 1. Fairy effect monster with 600 attack, 200 defense. His effect is, this card is always treated as Cloudian Smokeball. So you can play like 3 of these guys, but you can't play the 3 regular Smokeballs. So you gotta kind of mix them together. The reason why I put that clause in there is because of Turbulence. The only reason why I put that in there is because of Turbulence. Anyways, let's go ahead and read his effect. If this card is special summoned, place 2 fog counters on every face-up monster on the field. You can tribute this face-up card on 1 face-up monster with 2 or more fog counters. Special summon 1 Cloudian Eye of the Typhoon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. This effect of Cloudian Smokeball Prodigy can only be activated once per turn. Basically, what makes this card freaking amazing in a Cloudian deck is because if you summon Turbulence automatically nets himself a fog counter. You just get rid of the fog counter, summon this guy, put 2 more fog counters on Turbulence, and then you get to go ahead and pop off the 2 other fog counters on Turbulence, summon 2 more of these Smokeball Prodigies, put 4 fog counters on like everything on the field, and then to top it all off, you can tribute him and a card your opponent controls, because it doesn't specify which kind of monster. It could be your monster, your opponent's monster. You tribute off him and your opponent's monster, and you bring out a 3,000 beat stick from either your hand, deck, or graveyard. The reason why I put this as once per turn is because, like, just imagine just wiping out your opponent's entire field just with 3 Smokeball Prodigies. It'd be, plus that'd be an OTK. I was trying not to enable OTKs with these 2 archetypes, mainly because that's not the playstyle they like. Like, these 2 are basically helmet decks, and I made this archetype much more faster in the way that it distributes the fog counters, because the only reliable way they have it is freaking Cloudian Squall, which is a slow card. Even in any format, that card is slow. But Smokeball just adds so much utility to the Smokeball Prodigy, not regular Smokeball. Adds so much utility to the fog counter mechanic, which is a mechanic that's been long since abandoned and needed an update. And this card definitely updates it. Plus, it allows you to use a monster that typically most Cloudian players don't even use, which is Eye of the Typhoon. And it makes it super easy to summon. A 3k beat stick. His effect's not that great, but like I said, he's just basically Smokeball Prodigy makes him playable. So, guys, give me your opinions on these cards in the comments down below. Please like if you want some more of these kind of videos. Give any suggestions or anything like that. And Warhead XX War Card Games signing out.